Greetings, fellow Whovians. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we're gonna talk about the Celestial Toymaker. Yeah. And remember what I said last time about Dodo not being very smart? Well, let's just say in this episode, she's not that smart either. She's really not that smart at all. So yeah, anyway, let's get started with my review of the Celestial Toymaker. Muhahaha. An alien intelligence has invaded the TARDIS and rendered the first Doctor invisible, leaving Dodo, Chaplet, and Stephen Taylor incredulous. They step outside into a strange realm where the Doctor reappears, saying he recognizes the place. They have come to the realm of the Celestial Toymaker, an eternal being of infinite power who sets games and traps for the unwary so that they become its toys and playthings. The TARDIS is removed to prevent their escape and hidden with hundreds of facsimiles to prevent detection. The Doctor and the Toymaker have faced each other before, and the Toymaker abducts his old adversary to another place. The Doctor appears in the Toymaker's study where he is given the trilogic game, a 10-piece Tower of Hanoi puzzle whose pieces must all be moved and remounted in a precisely correct 1023 move sequence to ensure success of the game. Screens are placed in the two rooms which transmit the progress of the Doctor to his friends and vice versa. When the Doctor communicates with his friends, he is rendered invisible, unable to offer any advice or support. The game is advanced automatically to a further stage, with the Toymaker warning the Doctor that both parties must finish their tasks at the same time to win the game. A similar transgression later leads to him being made mute. Stephen and Dodo face different challenges. The first two appear are two clowns. Joey and Clara pull childish tricks in a rather dangerous game of blind man's bluff based on buzzed clues, which is not as simple as it first seems. The clowns are made to replay the game when it is clear they are cheating, and the second time around, Joey loses his footing on an obstacle course, and the challengers are transformed into twisted dolls on the floor. Stephen and Dodo then venture down a corridor into another chamber with 3 beautiful chairs and a challenge from the living playing cards, the King and Queen of Hearts, along with a Knave and a Joker. The adjoining room has further 4 chairs, and Stephen deduces from a rhyme that 6 of the 7 chairs are deadly to sit on. 7 mannequins are provided to be used for testing on the chairs. The King and Queen play alongside them, and some of the mannequins are destroyed as seats are proven unsafe and eliminated. Dodo herself sits in the freezing chair and starts to freeze, only being rescued in the nick of time. The King and Queen, however, are trapped within a chair which folds in on them, with Cyril, the Knave, and the Joker having abandoned them to their games. The King and Queen revert to their playing card form. The next order for Stephen and Dodo are the comical Sergeant Rugg and Mrs. Wiggs, who hold court in the kitchen. They challenge them to hunt the thimble, or rather the key to the exit door, beyond which the TARDIS is presumed to be. Ruggs and Wiggs are soon fighting, hurling crockery and food around, and in the chaos Dodo finds the key inside the large pie Mrs. Wiggs was making. She and Stephen depart and enter another room with a dancing floor. They encounter the 3 mannequins not destroyed by the chairs, who transform into ballerinas and start to dance. At the end of the far floor is the TARDIS. Sergeant Rugg and Mrs. Wiggs turn up, too, determined to please the Toymaker and stop Stephen and Dodo from reaching their craft. Stephen and Dodo get trapped as partners with 2 of the dolls, and only manage to free themselves by swapping their partners for each other. They pounce onto the TARDIS, leaving Wiggs and Rugg to their fates. The police box is once more fake. Wow, they went through all that for nothing? Rude. With the Doctor making good progress with the trilogic game, the Toymaker now chooses Cyril the schoolboy to take on his companions. Dodo and Stephen now find themselves in a vast game of hopscotch against the schoolboy, who delights in tricks and traps to prevent them from winning. The TARDIS is the alluring prize at the end of the game, and dice stars are required to be won to reach it, relying on luck and avoid the electrified spaces beyond the triangles raised that make up the game spaces. Also, if a player lands on a triangle that is already occupied, the first player has to return to the start. However, Cyril, who already falls foul of his own traps when he slips on a triangle, he has booby trapped and is electrocuted. Dodo and Stephen thus reach the TARDIS. In the Toymaker's study at the same time, the Doctor is at the final stage of the trilogic game. He has been returned to visibility and voice, and holds the final piece of the puzzle in his hand. The 3 friends are now reunited, with Stephen and Dodo sent into the TARDIS for safety while the Toymaker challenges the Doctor to complete the game. The Doctor realizes that when he makes the move and the game is won, the Toymaker's domain will disappear, and the TARDIS with it. He cleverly orders last piece to move using the Toymaker's voice from inside the TARDIS, allowing them to depart while the Toymaker's world is destroyed. The Doctor celebrates with a sweet from a bag given to Dodo by Cyril, but leaves him in agony. You see what I mean? Anyway, let's check out the production runs of this episode, shall we? The character of the Toymaker was played by Michael Goff, who were set the character of the Toymaker and his portrayer, Michael Goff, were set to return in season 23 in a story titled The Nightmare Affair with the Sixth Doctor and Perry Brown. However, that series was placed on hiatus by then BBC controller Michael Grade, and when the hiatus was over, all the original stories were dropped in favor of the season-long story, The Trial of a Time Lord. The Nightmare Affair was later released in May 1989 as a novel under the same title, and then again in 2009 as an audio play by Big Finish, featuring two of the original cast, Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant, and with David Bailey as the Toymaker. The character of the Toymaker also appeared in the BBC books Fifth Doctor Past Doctor Adventures novel Divided Loyalties by Gary Russell, which reveals that the Celestial Toymaker is of the Guardian alien race, as well as revealing the details of the First Doctor's original encounter with the Toymaker while he was still at the Academy. He is also seen in Doctor Who magazine's first 8th Doctor comic strip Endgame. The Toymaker also appears in two original Big Finish audio plays, with the 7th Doctor in The Magic Mousetrap, and with companion Charlotte Pollard in Solitaire. David Bailey again played the role. A picture of Claire the Clown appears on Sarah Jane's laptop in the Sarah Jane Adventures story, The Day of the Clown. All episodes of this story except the fourth, The Final Test, are missing from the BBC archives. Working titles for the story included The Toymaker and The Trilogy Game. Brian Hales was unavailable to do necessary rewrites, so then script editor Donald Tosh performed them. As Tosh would no longer be script editor by the time the story was transmitted, he agreed with Hales to take the writer's credit, with Hales being credited for the idea. After Tosh finished work on the scripts, his successor, Jerry Davis, was forced to make further rewrites due to a budget shortfall. Tosh was unhappy with the rewrites and refused to be credited, while Davis could not take credit because he was the series script editor. As a result of this, Hales was the sole credited author on the final serial, despite the fact that he had not worked on it in 3 months, and the final scripts bore little to no resemblance to what he wrote. Rude. William Hartnell was on holiday during the second and third episodes, The Hall of Dolls and The Dancing Floor. Pre-recordings of his voice were heard in episode 2, and Albert Ward was a hand double, sporting the Doctor's ring, for scenes where the mostly invisible Doctor played the Trilogy Game throughout the story. The story was commissioned by producer John Wiles, who left the series before it was recorded after several clashes with William Hartnell. His intention was to replace Hartnell in the role of the Doctor during the story, having the character reappear in a new guise after the invisibility was removed by the Toymaker. The BBC's head of serials, Gerald Savary, vetoed the idea, leading to Wiles quitting in protest. Michael Goff returned to the program in The Arc of Infinity. Peter Stevens returned to play Lolem in the second Doctor story, The Underwater Menace. Carmen Silver later appeared in Invasion of the Dinosaurs. So, yeah, basically, this story is the ultimate portrayal of Dodo's stupidity. I mean, seriously, sitting on a freezing chair. I mean, come on. How could anyone be that stupid? I mean, really? And also, could you have at least checked the sweet bag to make sure that it wouldn't do any harm to the Doctor or anything like that? I mean, really? Come on, Dodo. Use whatever brain space you have. Urgh. Anyway, but still, a really imaginative story, and hey, come on. It's got Michael Goff, who played Alfred in the Batman movies. Let's be real, that makes this episode really cool. So, overall, I give The Celestial Toymaker 3 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next time as we hopefully see the Doctor get over his toothache in The Gunfighters. I don't know about you, but that should be pretty interesting. So, until next week, this is Who Being Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt, when I say run, run, a reverse polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic. Allons-y, Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.